Hello, Good Shepherd and Saints Francis and John. I'm Father Linwin with Saint Francis and John. This week we prepare with the Gospel message for the 31st Sunday of Ordinary Time. A reading from the Gospel according to Luke. At that time Jesus came to Jericho and intended to pass through the town. Now, a man there named Zacchaeus, who was a chief tax collector and also a wealthy man, was seeking to see who Jesus was. But he could not see him because of the crowd, for he was short in stature. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore tree in order to see Jesus, who was about to pass that way. When he reached the place, Jesus looked up and said, "Zacchaeus, come down quickly, for today I must stay at your house." And he came down quickly and received him with joy. When they all saw this, they began to grumble, saying, "He has gone to stay at the house of a sinner." But Zacchaeus stood there and said to the Lord, "Behold, half of my possessions, Lord, I shall give to the poor. And if I have extorted anything from anyone, I shall repay it 4 times over." And Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a descendant of Abraham. For the Son of Man has come to seek and to save what was lost." Friends, when I read this section of the Gospel about Zacchaeus, I thought of a dear friend, priest friend of mine named Father Jim Sisko, who is a priest from our Diocese of Lexington. If you follow social media, you would know who he is. You might see him on local news of serve Starbucks to homeless folks or help pay funeral costs for someone recently died in car accident. He carried a briefcase of gift cards to give to folks suffering from the recent flood. Recently, he gave a decorative pair of sneakers of a famous local artist to Pope Francis. I often hear folks comment in a negative way about him showing off his generous activities on the social media. They claim he should do this act of kindness to himself. But the truth is that not too many folks knowing or has forgotten that he is the missionary of compassionate priests appointed by Pope Francis to carry out the mission of mercy. I think there are only maybe few hundred priests or chartered with this mission in the world. His social media sensation of his generosity is not about him at all, but pointing to the mercy that he has been charged to do. Everywhere you see him, he always wears the clergy collars, which is the big witness to the priesthood of Jesus Christ and the universal church. In the society with skeptic of the Catholic Church, Father Jim is witnessing to the compassionate love of Christ, which the world needs to see. Father Jim has a special gift, and God is using his talent perfectly. The wisdom of today's gospel, the conversation between Jesus and Zacchaeus, shed light to the genuineness truth that opened our narrow mind to see the goodness of Zacchaeus. With Christ's light, let us strive to see the depth of each other's goodness. And here's some family activity. Zacchaeus oversaw the collection of taxes for Rome, and so people condemn him as a sinner. As a family, talk about the different people you know whom you may have misjudged. A teacher or a co-worker, maybe. What about people who hold a job position that necessarily gives them authority, perhaps a police officer, a judge, or maybe a doctor? Sometimes people have to tell us things that we don't necessarily want to hear. But have we considered that person may be a strong believer in Jesus Christ? First, pray for those that we may have misjudged. Then pray the Jesus prayer and pray it often. Remember it from the last week. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. God bless. See you at Mass.